Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome again to our recovery support group. This is a family support group that we like to bring information that entails information dealing with the whole structure of the family. And so today, my name is Craig, and as always, my name is Craig. That is, and so today I am bringing you an article. Uh, this article is brought to us by at the Owl's Nest Recovery.com. You can go online to Owl's Nest Recovery.com and you can retrieve this article. Okay. So you may be asking, what's the name of the title? The title of the article is The Effects. You can look on the bottom of your screen. You can see the title, and it's going to be scrolling throughout this segment. The effects of drug addiction on family members. Once again, this is our recovery support group. All right. And so, without further ado, I will start off with the introduction from this article. This article starts us off by saying drug addiction is something that affects not only the addicted individual, but their family and friends as well. There are a series of serious effects of drug addiction on family members. It is not easy seeing a loved one change for the worse and become someone they are not. Drug addiction affects several different aspects of a person's life, one of which is ruined relationships with loved ones, right? A part of drug addiction treatment is repairing these relationships and building a stronger bond with loved ones. In order to achieve sobriety, it's crucial to have the support of loved ones and friends along the way. Let me read that again. In order to achieve sobriety, it's crucial to have the support of loved ones and friends along the way. Many people tend to focus on the physical aspects of drug addiction and not the impact of substance abuse on families. At the end of the day, drug addiction can end up causing much more than physical damage to a person's body, right? And so it's very important, as this article makes mention of, to have family and friends along the way. It says not only have them, but it says it is crucial to have this type of support. It means a great deal to individuals who are in their early stage of recovery or sobriety, and they whether you're still whether it's the early stage, mid stage, or long term stage, we all need some type of support from family and friends who's going to encourage us along the way. All right, and so another one of the topics that we're going to share today is how can a connection between drug addiction and a person's family? How connection, excuse me, not how connection between drug addiction and a person's family. So let's go right into it. It says coping with a loved one who is struggling with drug addiction is not only stressful, but can also be emotionally painful. Intense emotion may run high, which can end up causing conflict and struggle between the family and the person who's addicted. In some cases, the family understands that the addict is not trying to hurt them intentionally. This may lead to a more empathetic, and supportive approach. However, in some cases, there may be more toxic features such as manipulation and deceit between the addict and their family. This is one of the many aspects of drug addiction on family members and loved ones. Over time, this behavior can sever ties and create an impact on the family relationship. In turn, a person may continue using drugs because of this. All right. Remember, this article talks about toxic features such as manipulation and deceit between the addict and their family. And so I know when I was in my active stage of addiction and I went to a treatment program, I had to learn about the addictive behavior, the distorted thinking, being manipulative, being deceitful, being cunning, being baffling. All these things ties to those of us who uh, either experience some type of drug addiction or are in drug addiction. And so we have to be mindful, especially family members who may not really understand it. You know, earlier it talks about the addict is not trying to hurt anyone intentionally, right? But however, due to the effects of the drug itself, uh, we begin to take on those type of behavioral characteristics. All right. And so let's go into our next topic of discussion, and that is number one. Number one. All right, Caroline. Carolyn,
Yes.
good afternoon. Hi, my name is Craig.
How you doing, Craig?
All right, nice to meet you. And
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad you was able to join us. And so, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, can you see that title scrolling at the bottom? The
Trust
effects,
can be lost.
huh?
The one that says trust can be lost.
Yeah, the effects of drug addiction on family members. That's the title that we're talking about. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good, Mr. Seriano.
How you doing?
All right. Good to see you, man. Good. We have a young lady on with us as well. Her name is Carolyn. Carolyn. We have Mr. Serrano as well. Okay, Miss Carolyn.
Okay.
All right. And so we're going to continue our discussion. And so the first topic that I like to share is trust can't be lost, especially when we're dealing with someone who is in addiction and who is struggling with their addiction and the family. I know what that looks like when you lose trust. And then when you come home from rehab, people still looking at you with skepticism, you know, whether or not with suspicion, thinking whether or not you are on the up and up. And so let's see what the article says. But that's my brief experience. So it says trust can be lost. Trust is one of the most important things in a relationship, especially between those closest to a person. Drug addiction can end up getting the best of someone, which results in lying, making excuses, and failing to uphold promises, right? And so, as times goes on, family members may end up losing trust in a person for failing to meet their obligations. This can cause distrust and frustration. I remember a lot of times when I was in my active stages of addiction, I would say, uh, I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm not gonna do the same thing over and over. I'll get locked up because of drug use or drug selling or whatever it was, and I would be lying through my teeth just so that I can get out of jail. And so my mom, she would bail me out of jail, and I would end up. I would make a good effort, but due to the disease of my addiction at that time, I went back to my old behaviors. You know, have anyone experienced that? Whereas they tried to do right, but still, man, was unable to stay on the straight and narrow.
I did, but that was a few years back. But this
A few
was
years.
my first a few years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You would like to share a little bit more about that, huh,
What
Carol?
was that? Yeah,
Huh?
a few years back, I tried. I did it on my own at home actually. Stood clean for 8 months, and I ended up being with the depression in the family, giving me that type of look that you were saying, like the trust wasn't there. I felt like, since I already messed up once, I feel like if I'm nobody to nobody, to anybody in the family. So uh, that was a trigger by them, not giving me that effort. Like you're doing good. Don't poke me with a negative instead of do a positive. And that right there took me to relapse.
Yeah,
But this
to
time, this time is my first time I actually did a intern, and so far so good. And right now I got a now that I did this step, now I got a good support at home with my daughters. Uh, with the rest of the family, they they're on that doubt also. So just to keep the negative away, I just do not deal with it.
yeah, good, good. Thank you for sharing that. That was great because a lot of times you're gonna have people who's going to give you back that trust, and then there's gonna be people like you said, they still gonna be hesitant or on the fence. So yeah, so good. You would like to say something, Mr. Serrano?
I mean, with me, I go through that all the time here, but I
Yeah,
just want to say, like, I caused that.
yeah,
Um, but it just kind of sometimes hurts when you're being accused,
yeah,
and you're not doing it, and it kind of makes you feel like, man, if I'm being accused of doing it when I'm not, might as well. And that's always taking me back to the relapse.
yeah, yeah. I like what you said, Mr. Serrano, that you take full responsibility. You're not blaming it, shifting the blame on nobody. You say, you know what? I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna own mine, and yeah. So it's gonna be rough and rocky, and like I think, like in my marriage, any relationship, basically, if I did like in my marriage, I'm gonna keep the focus on my marriage. Is that I have did some things in the past that caused distrust between me and my wife. And so a lot of times I want her to forgive me when I wanted her to forgive me. Then I had to learn through counseling that people have to forgive you on their own terms. And I also have to take responsibility of my action, what I did. And so both of y'all scenarios and stories and experiences is right on point. I like that. Thank you for sharing both. All right, so let's go into the second one topic of discussion. It impacts the addict's children. All right, we're talking about the effects of drugs addiction on family members. And so the first one we just talked about, trust can be lost. The second one, it impacts the addict's children. The article says children whose parents suffer from addiction tend to be impacted greatly by their parents' alcohol or drug abuse. The statistics paint a disheartening picture. Nearly 1 in 5 children grow up with a father or mother who abuse substance and alcohol, excuse me. Chances are that if a parent is dealing with an addiction, this will cause an effect on the child's development. In single parent household, the situation is even worse because the child has no one to turn to. As with many other responsibilities, a person may be completely ignored or avoid their child and their needs due to drug use. This may not be, they may not feed the child or take them to school. This creates a dysfunctional and negative household for a child, not to mention the mental toll that a parent's drug use can have on the child. This, this dysfunction and loss of trust may create health issues in the child. This is one of the many effects of drug addiction on family members. This impact on a child's development is extremely important, and anything that disrupt that process can cause short-term and long-term problems. Wow. And so, a lot of times when we're in our active addiction, a lot of times we may not even consider others. because I know when I was immersed in my drug addiction, I'm gonna share this story with you. I have two little sisters, and so I was using drugs. I got caught up in the crime act, and I went to jail. And so my mother, I called home and I said, Mom, I need some money to get out of jail. And it was during Christmas time. She said, don't you know that the money that I have is for your sister Christmas gift? You know, me and my manipulative self, I said, I understand. I'll pay it back, this, that, and the third. Not thinking about due to my actions, I have called, I didn't really care about, my siblings, what they would get for Christmas. Only thing I was my selfishness, and that really, as I think about it now that I'm sober, and I say, wow, you didn't even think about whether or not they were going to have a good Christmas. You just only thought about getting out of jail because something that you did, something that I did. So yeah, so children can be affected a great deal. All right. Anyone got anything they want to add to that, or what's going? Talk to me.
I agree with that because I got two daughters also in their 20s, and because of my addiction, Christmas is very the same. No holiday, put it like that, was the same, but also with the roof over their head. I got to a point, where I didn't pay rent and I used it on drugs. Saying, "Oh, I'll pay for it late next month," or so forth and so on. And that's what I kept thinking or whatever. And one thing kept going and kept going. I was reverse.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
they
yeah.
take my place, where are my girls and my children gonna go? And so it affects that. It affects the food in their mouth. It does affect children's, kids in many ways.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Me and the guys, we used to joke around about, relationship. I used to say, man, I ain't had no relationship with with female at the time of my actual addiction. We used to say, well, the coke was my girlfriend. Come on in, brother. Grab one of those. Sometimes I would say, the coke was my girlfriend, this, that, and third. And so, yeah, when it came to neglecting others or neglecting responsibilities, we know that it has an impact on the addiction, also has an impact on the children as well. All right, so let's go on to number three. We're on number three, Will. And so we have two people here with us. We have Mr. Serrano and we have Miss Carolyn Cortez. All right. And so we're on number three. We moving right along. And so everyone, we have Will. Will just joined us. He is a volunteer. And so he's been coming here. And we're just gonna move right along. All right. Number three, stress can increase due to the effects of drugs and addiction on family members. Stress can increase. Drug addiction is a stressful and sometimes painful situation for everyone involved. There are several different stresses that arise from a person's addiction. It is heartbreaking to see a loved one go down a path of addiction and change for the worse. Not to mention the frequent tension and inability to stop using. It can become a dysfunctional and tiring environment to live in. What tends to happen in situations with families and drug addicts is enabling. Enabling occurs when a person allows a loved one to continue using drugs without consequences. While a loved one may have the best intentions, sometimes they may enable the addict without meaning to. This is done through picking up their responsibilities, making excuses for them, providing money, and other behavior. This can end up causing an imbalance in a relationship and much stress along the way, right? Enablers. You know, when people who think that they mean well, however, but they are doing a disservice to a lot of us. It's almost like codependence, you know, where we have to depend on someone else to pick up, like the article said, pick up our slack, you know, pay our bills, uh, give us money, make people feel guilty because uh, they not having money or they not being able to assist us in that way, you know. So yeah, so let's get into number four. All right, let's get into number four. All right, and so number four, it says physical and emotional abuse may happen. All right, physical and emotional abuse may happen. Now, this is a big one right here. This is real. I think it's a big one because the mind altering substance can cause us to have behavior issues, right? And so when physical and emotional abuse may happen, I want to see exactly what this article before I go into what I think the article said. In some cases, the person who is abusing drugs may be in denial or act irrational. This is one of the ways that drugs take on a person's life and behavior. During this time, tension can be created between family members. Simple disagreements can end causing big fights. I thought, okay, big fights with nothing being accomplished. This tension can cause a change in behavior for everyone involved, not just the person using drugs. Sometimes things may escalate to the point where physical abuse may begin. In some cases, the addict may be the abuser. In other instances, other family members may be abusive toward the person suffering from addiction. Children can also end up becoming abusers in some cases. Their parents' drug addiction may cause them to act out or misbehave as a way to shift the blame. This can end up leading to a downward spiral of acting out, which may involve drinking and using drugs themselves. The impact of substance abuse on families cannot be considered. Don't hesitate to get help if a loved one is dealing with drug abuse. Wow, wow, this is heavy. This is very important when it talks about the physical and emotional abuse. What are some of the emotional abuse that you think they're talking about, Mr. Serrano?
Yes.
What is some of the emotional abuse that you think the article is talking about when it's talking about physical and emotional abuse may happen while someone under the influence of addiction?
I mean, I would have to say guilt. I mean, would be one of the emotions.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Guilt is one. What about abuse? Abuse and language.
Yeah, I mean in my use, you have to say I have a trucker's mouth, but I could be very verbally abusive when I was on my DOC,
Yeah.
or when I
Uh,
wanted it,
yeah. Yeah. DOC. Drug of choice.
or DOD, drug of destruction.
Ms. Cortez, what is another emotion that one may experience while under with a family member or friend while under the influence of addiction?
Mm, under the influence of being on it, my like he was saying, my mouth. Yeah, I hurt a lot of people with the way my form of talking.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really bad. Physical. Yes, my hands were cutting. I got to the point where I was cutting people.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, at least you
And
didn't get out of it.
that's normally not me, but being in
Yeah.
them days, it got
Mind
me to
over
a
the
point.
state.
It took
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I and that guilt, when now when I sit back and think about it, it's her fault. It's bad. I'm like, wow, I did that, and without thinking, being in that, it wasn't right. So
Uh,
I felt bad about it.
yeah. Yeah. Right. I like to look at it as that we're not bad people. We just made some bad choices in life.
Choices.
You know what I mean? So when we can straighten up from making bad choices, then we can see the good of ourselves, and then other people see the good of us as well. So yeah. So thank you. Good information. Good. 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 Oh man, this is really good. I didn't know it's gonna be this good, but thank you guys for sharing. Number
Yep.
5, it talks about financial problems often occur. We're still on the effect of drug addiction on families. And so it talks about financial problems often occur. One of the often overlooked effects of drug addiction on family members is the financial problems that may arise. Okay? And it says, drug addiction is not cheap and requires a lot of money and time. Frequent drug abuse can end up causing someone to lose their job and responsibilities. So true. Once someone is addicted, they may go too far lengths to get their drugs. If the person has a family, this financial burden will begin to affect them as well. All right. They may begin to have trouble providing food, clothing, rent, and a roof over their family's head. Drug use can also indirectly cause problems if the addict gets into legal problems like drinking while intoxicated. That's one of the big ones nowadays. Or using illegal drugs. This can create much financial stress on the entire family. Family members who enable a loved one's addiction can also contribute to the family financial problem. They may give addicted individual money to buy drugs or alcohol, the enabling process, thinking they are being helpful. This usually makes the situation worse because it allows continual use while depleting their finances. This may create a dependency problem because they may rely on a loved one to care for their financial needs. Right? Ms. Cortez, you made mention earlier where sometimes you will neglect paying, your responsibilities and doing things of that nature. And so I know myself, I used to deprive myself of eating good food. I may wake up in the morning and eat a bag of potato chips. Here it is 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm eating potato chips when I should be eating some because of the addiction. Clothing. I wasn't really into the fashion thing, and things of that nature. So financial problems, like I stated earlier, getting locked up, then needing money to bail for bail. Then I had to rely on family member who thought they was doing right by me, but instead of letting me sit, they would come get me. You know what I mean? So they were basically enabling me in my addiction. Not intentionally, because we love our family, we love our people, so we want to do we think we're doing the right thing, but it happens, you know. So did any one of y'all ever had a DUI? You will?
I'm on number 3.
You on number 3. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
man, that rang my bell because I'm just getting my license back this past, I don't know what, about 3 months now.
3 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
That. And it's been a long time
Yeah.
of you know, I used to pride myself of being the, you know, in my sobriety of being, having my priorities and responsibilities in order.
Yeah.
But then when when the DUI came,
Yeah.
you know, you know, my level of responsibility, you know, might be at a certain level.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my family and my support system like, look, I need to get here. You got to take me where I need to, you know, and I started to feel bad about my family, like not being able to run me here.
It's their fault.
Yeah, like it's their fault.
Yeah.
So it took a long time, not a long time, but it took a while for me to realize, like, look, you know, not only am I a man, but I'm the person that put myself in that predicament.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, it's on me.
It's on you. That's right. Keep the focus on yourself, not others. All right, this is the last one. And we're gonna wrap it up, everybody. And so the last one, it talks about confusion and fear can develop. Drug addiction and abuse can end up causing confusion and sometimes frightening changes in a loved one. They may become unpredictable and it may be unclear as to how they react to certain situations. This fear and uncertainty can have family members confused and hesitant to help them or engage with them. Going back to the idea of emotional and physical abuse, this unpredictable behavior can lead to abuse. This is also true when children are in the picture. They may be more reserved and scared to interact with their own parents or siblings. This creates a tense and fearful environment for everyone involved. Fear is one of the effects of addiction on family members and shows the true impact substance can have on loved ones. Wow. And tell you the truth, that's basically almost hits home for me. Just knowing that I'm in the house with my family members on eggshell because of my addiction. You know, not being able to lay the stuff around, not being up all night, waiting on me to go to sleep because they not sure how I may behave or when I'm gonna get home. There's so much to that we can get out of confusion and fear can develop because of our addiction and our relationship with our loved one. Anyone want to close us out with that part?
I just want to say, like, with me, it's my mom and my daughter. Like, my mother knows automatically the change in me. She says my voice even changes when I'm under the influence. And my daughter, she's constantly on, "Are you all right, Dad?" When she sees me like that, because she already knows the look on me, and she knows my state of mind and how I naturally am. That
Right.
you don't realize the fact that you physically and emotionally change.
Yeah.
And like she automatically sees, my daughter's 17 years old now. She automatically sees it in me, and she's always like she knows it when I'm under the influence because she's constantly asking, "Am I all right?" And she knows I'm on something because it pisses me off. Like,
Uh,
because I'm trying to lie. Like, yeah, I'm okay, but I'm not, and I can't lie to her because I know that she knows.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so and it's hard because my daughter's seen both sides of the coin. She's seen Coach Daddy, Coach, the good dad, and she's seen the other side of it in her life. So, you know, she gets scared because she doesn't want to see the
Mm,
bad side of the coin all
yeah.
over again. She's used to seeing me coming back to me, coming
Yeah.
back not to the old me, but to the new me with my old ways of being Mr. Dad. Instead of being Uncle Dad, I'm Dad. You know.
You that dude. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's good, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Miss Carolyn, you want to add something or no? Hello? You good? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think she's muted.
Oh, I think you're muted. All right. So you want to add something, Will?
Yeah. What Mr. Shibano was talking about. I remember when I was young, my father used to be under the influence of certain, various stuff. And every time I didn't know, early on, I didn't know what drugs were, early on, but I just knew his personality was different.
Yeah, something about his
I knew,
aura.
like something was off, like this ain't right.
Yeah, something.
But as I got older, I came to realize what was going on. And, after a while, I just got used to it. I'm like, yeah, he's higher, he's drunk.
Yeah. So this has really been a good segment for us, dealing with the effects of drugs, addiction on family members, and so every Tuesday we like to just share some information to basically help one another, because we don't have the identical situation, but we have a lot of similarities because of our experience. And so thank you everyone for logging in, and I appreciate you. Y'all stay safe until the next time. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.